Good morning. All right. Bev, where are you? Awesome job. I love it. So good morning. My name is Christine Goebel. I'm the founder and CEO of Accompany Suite. And we help companies get and stay healthy. All right. How about that? All right. So a couple statistics before we begin. Hers was definitely sweet. Mine might be a little bit salty or spicy. But we're going to talk about workplace communication. So first and foremost, this is going to be a shout out, so I'm going to let you guess the first one. Okay, so poor communication equals what percent of corporate errors? 70. 70% of corporate errors is because of poor communication. So poor communication is anything from people, process, expectations, accountability, all of that. So this one, effective workplace communication may see a 25% increase in production. So just by tweaking the communication, you can increase production very quickly. And then you said 93% over here. I still would give you a sticker because you guessed the answer of another one. But effective communication, 93% of that is non-verbal. Okay, so even if I'm standing behind here, I'm creating a barrier between us. So you're going to see me stand over here just because I want to make sure that I'm building trust and rapport with you as we go. Okay, and if I come over here, it's because I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so the problem we solve is miscommunication. We do it a lot of different ways, and so people miscommunication, this could be internal. This could be miscommunication between my belief system and my behavior. So we might work with you on that on an individual basis. It could be relationships inside of a business. So we know if you've ever had a partner before, that can be challenging from time to time. So we work with those relationships. We love process and system, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And also just the expectations on performance. So before I go any further, because this is the problem we solve, it is the question that I'm asking you. So what I want you to be listening for as we go through the rest of it is what about who we are, why we exist, and what we do is unclear to you so that we can get better at communicating our mission. Okay. So miscommunication, it could be things like not getting the results we want, people avoiding or instigating conflict. It could be things like needing accountability inside, we're stuck. I know what I want, I don't have a clue how to do it. We should be more productive than we are, or we are just having meetings for meetings for meetings. So Accompany Suite, this is us. Becca and Chris are over here. So Becca is our resident HR expert. She works with small businesses that are getting started or individuals that are requesting career coaching. She works with teams on training and development and is our designer behind all of our graphics. So everything you see today, if you like it, it wasn't me. Becca made it look really good. And so I appreciate that. Thank you, Becca. And Chris, he's our director of marketing and big initiatives. He works with teens, sports teams, and people seeking a collaborative approach to regaining motivation to move their life forward. He challenges our status quo. He is also inside, he helps coach us through our own roadblocks. And he is my partner and also my husband. I always get all like giddy. 23 years and I'm still loving it. Okay. So I am the creator of content and strategy, and so I work primarily with established businesses and their executive teams, specifically on strategic planning, goal setting, and how to hold their team accountable. And so we see great disconnects between what the vision is and what's actually happening. And a lot of times the business owner has no idea what's actually happening, and they try to solve it by not asking anybody who's actually doing it how to fix it. Okay, so we bridge a lot of gaps there. The vision for Accompany Suite came from, so my 25 years ago-ish, I worked with Toyota. I dropped out of college, just needed to get a job, and I was a hot mess. I won't get into a lot of detail, but had this great boss. His name's Frank. If you're listening, Frank, I still appreciate you. I tell him every couple of years how much I appreciate him because he saw something in me that I could not see. He sent me to go work with Toyota Motors to learn process implementation, customer impact, respect for humanity. And if you know anything about Toyota and its product, I am so grateful for that foundation. So fast forward about 6-ish, 7 years later, I was still in the Toyota world. And my GM, I was like, I want to get out of cars. I want to learn about other industries. He said, well, my son just started a CPA firm, and he's really good at tax and accounting, but he has no idea how to run a business or all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay. So I took my binder that I learned from Toyota, and I said, hey, I'm just going to use this. He said, okay, whatever you want to do that. So he gave me the keys pretty early to start driving the bus. And then about, I guess it was about 6 years into that, I said, hey, man, we need to do more. We're doing a great job, tax and accounting. We had a wealth advisory firm. We were growing, and it was wonderful. But I said, we need to do more, because if we're not asking why these things are happening, like we could look at a profit and loss statement, but it wasn't telling us the story. What's the story behind the profit and loss statements? We created a consulting company, went into our clients' businesses, got to know their teams, and were helped move them forward just by getting to know their people. So in 2020, we were COVID walking, as you probably all did too, and I had been praying, and I'm like, okay, as soon as Chris says it's time, I'm gonna know it's time that we need to go do just this consulting portion of it 100% of the time, all the time. So we're walking, and he says, this is all he said, hey, you know it's time, right? And I was like, oh. So 100 days later, I walked out of our firm for the last time. I gave 100 days notice, just saying. I didn't just walk out. To repair broken walls and restore dwellings. And so we founded 2020. We're in the industry of organizational health and development. We have 3 employees, 2 contractors. So one is that's onboarding right now is Spanish speaking. So we have someone fluent in Spanish that we're bringing on as a coach. We'd love to get into construction, things like that, where they don't get a lot of help. So Francisco is going to be working on that. And we have a contractor position opening up for social media management. Anyone who writes code, please talk to me. And we are primarily remote. We've been all over Florida, Tennessee. People just have us come in to do our training and development, so that's been really cool. Let's see. So here's a little bit about what we do. I'm going to go back because Becca did something really cool here, and I don't want you to miss it because I clicked too many times. Okay. So we believe that healthy workplaces equal healthy families, and that's at the heart of what we do. So we want to make sure that when you get up in the morning that you know where you're going, why you're going there, and that you're part of something bigger. And when you go home at night, that you are so energized from that day, even if you're tired, you have enough to give back to the people in your home, okay? Because these homes are broken, and I can tell you how many times I missed what was going on in my household because I was so wrapped up in everything that was going on at work, and I burnt out, and I do not recommend it. So we are watching for that all day long. Our short-term engagements are things like assessments, surveys. We have membership programs, resources. We do a lot of personal and professional coaching. We have a great series of team building workshops. We have information here if you want it. We'd be happy to give it to you. But it is all based on interpersonal skill development so that people know how to talk to people. Because AI, you need to know it because it is coming. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't teach us. It makes us more self-centered, more self-focused, needing more self-help, more self-assessment, and it takes us away from community. And for us to survive, just as human beings, we need to make sure that we are always living in community. And so we create community environments in our team workshops, leadership development programs, and our mentorship program. We love to give you all the information in our brain and teach you how to use it. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail here, but the point of this is a sample of one of our clients. They came in, people were pushing back about change. They were talking the same things over and over and over again. They weren't moving anywhere. They didn't have a strategy for sales, and they had a lot of drama. But what their actual issues was there was just a miscommunication as far as where were they going. Nobody knew. They showed up, they did the job. They didn't know where they were heading together, and they didn't know their part in it. There was no accountability, so there was no written results, no accountability. They avoided conflict. So, Bev, I'm going to give you another shout out here. When she says arguing equals problem solving, she is correct, okay? Conflict's not a bad word. It is a good word when we do it well, okay? So we want to make sure that people feel safe to speak up when they don't agree. And so we create those cultures for you. And then result, obviously, if we do the right thing, and we create a system and a process, and we teach people how to communicate, revenue increases, okay? So everybody's like, oh, didn't you hate all that pressure being responsible for everything? No, I didn't, because the profit and loss worked itself out. I didn't focus on that. I focused on the people and the processes and how we were holding them accountable, and it played itself out every single time. So they had decreased turnover, their survey results improved. Yeah, it took a lot of work, but they were all committed, and everybody leveled up. Everybody elevated in their position. Ideal clients for us, they have a desire to develop themselves and the people that they serve. They understand people development and interpersonal skills are a necessity, not a luxury. We hear that a lot. Oh, it's such a luxury to have you come in, and we're like, that's kind of a necessity, because if you're not doing this, you've got to at least try to increase by just a small margin if you can. They're willing to try new methodologies. They are open to teammates taking on more accountability and responsibility, and here's the kicker. They have to let them make mistakes and not beat them up, okay? Because we're never going to learn if we're not the one who made the mistakes. Okay, and they have to be prepared to make an investment. And so the investment is in themselves and their people, okay? Because this isn't easy. So this is, I went back to school at 40 and, behavioral sciences, and I learned all this stuff because I was like, I don't know how. Got it, okay? Thank you for that. What to listen for, these I'm just gonna put up, right? It's any of these. We need a written process. I don't know how to motivate people. I'm working for everybody, and I'm about to burn out, okay? Drama, I want to quit, let them speak. So these are my questions and requests. So the first thing is to just spread the good news, right? Like, there's a better way to do things. If there's a lot of conflict in your organization or an organization that you're working with, hire someone who knows what they're doing so that it can change. Introductions, obviously, if there's anyone that's struggling here, we'd be happy to have a conversation with them. Any speaking opportunities on how to do some of this, we'd be happy to do that. And then my question, what is unclear about who we are, why we exist, and how we serve others?
All right, round of applause for Christine.